This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Michael Conlan here in Belfast. Mick, always a pleasure. You're back, your own city. How did you feel to be able to return and to hopefully right the wrongs of your last time fighting here?
Yeah, I mean it's great. I'm delighted to be back. Belfast is a great boxing city, as you know, and to be a part of the history is always special. So to come back here and reset after last time, I'm looking forward to it.
You head into Saturday night as a big favourite, Mick. A lot of people are expecting you to do not just a job on Jordan Gill, but to kind of take him out in supreme fashion. Has that been on your mind at all, trying to live up to what the expectations are of the public?
No, I haven't been worrying about what other people say or public say and expectations or anything like that. I just believe I'm going to go in there and do a job. And whether it's points or whether it's a stoppage, it doesn't really matter to me. I know I'll do it and I'll look good doing it.
You have been adamant, to be fair, in your interviews, and I saw with Matchroom, that you will not just do a job on him, though, you will look impressive.
Yeah, of course. That's always been the way you have to approach fights. I think you can't just go in there just looking to scrape a win. I'm not looking to do that. But if I have to be smart and it goes to points, I don't really care.
Saw a quote earlier from yourself where you said you feel like Jordan's got the quit in him. It's an interesting thing that you raised there, because when I interviewed Jordan yesterday, he randomly just brought it up himself and said the opposite. He doesn't feel like he has quit in him. He doesn't feel like you have quit in him. So what have you seen in Jordan which maybe makes you think that he would have that?
I know Jordan. That's it.
That's fair enough. What from what you know about him and makes you feel like that is the case?
Yeah, just I feel like I know that's in him. I can see it.
When you step between the ropes on Saturday night, then how are you envisaging it playing out?
I either take him out or he quits on a stool. One of the two.
Not only you bringing in Pedro Diaz, but he's obviously teamed up with Barry from Ben's gym. What do you make of him having a new training setup, leaving Dave?
I don't think it means anything. I know Dave told him to retire, and that's why he left Dave. Um, but he's went with his father, which is good, and I hope his father has some compassion on Saturday night and doesn't let him take the kind of punishment which he took against Scurfy. Because that fight probably could have been stopped if your father was in the corner. But his setup, it doesn't mean anything really. What he's doing doesn't mean anything. Anything Jordan's done or is doing doesn't mean anything to me. I'm just focused on me, my tactics, my game plan, and my plan for the fight.
Are there any demons in the closet for when you do step between ropes at the SSE again? Obviously, because last time it was Lopez.
No, no. I think that's a kind of stupid way to think. It's like people are having to fucking step on certain gratings and stuff. Superstitions isn't. It's a weakness, isn't it? Really. So I don't have no superstitions about the arena or anything like that. And I know people will go, "Oh, but it's the arena," and sure, fuck's sake, who knows? Who's going to be the referee? It could say like Steve Gray will be the referee, and I lost, and he's the referee. So it doesn't really matter. None of that matters. He's been my referee since then. So like I don't have superstitions about things. Like I think it would be silly for me to do so because there are things you can't control.
The team up with Pedro Diaz, your first fight together. What are you hoping that he can bring into this fight? What do you feel like you will show that you've learned under his tutelage?
Um, it's very hard to learn something in 8 weeks, and as Pedro will tell you himself, he hasn't taught me anything new in 8 weeks. He's just dusted me off and brought me back to what I do best, and that's what I'm happiest about. We're back working on my best assets and bringing them into use in the fight night. So, yeah, it's just a reset really.
Do you feel like, Mick, given what you achieved as an amateur, what you've been through as a pro, and at this stage in your career, can you still learn new things in the boxing world?
100%. I think as a fighter you have to be like a sponge. No matter how long you're there, you take in the good and you throw away the bad, and that's what I've always tried to do with coaches and anybody I've worked with. From I was an amateur right through, when you go to different coaches and stuff, you always try to take in the good and throw away the bad.
The move up in weight, how have you felt with the additional £4?
It's been easy to ever made weight, so yeah, I'm happy, man. It's the most talking I've done on a fight week. The most active I've been on a fight week on round. Actually doing more training and stuff. So yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's been nice being up and having that little bit of room.
You move forwards beyond Saturday. I know you don't want to take your eye off the ball, but obviously there's a lot of talk about that potential Leigh Wood fight. Where do you think you currently sit with that? Do you think he's going to pursue the Josh Warrington rematch instead?
Yeah, probably it's an easier fight for him, I suppose. One that he didn't have to take as much damage, but still took damage, and you know, all credit to him, he pulled the shot out of the bag again. So yeah, I don't know if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't give a fuck really. I'm just here to do a job on Saturday.
You can ask me because I haven't actually asked you about it previously. Obviously, the one champion within the Matchroom stable who holds the title at super featherweight is Joe Cordina. Now, obviously, when Leigh moved up, there was talk of him and Joe potentially crossing paths. Has it been anything which has been mentioned by Eddie? Maybe you and Joe crossing paths at all? Would you be open to that fight?
I've heard it being mentioned a few times. I don't know who's saying it, but I've heard it being mentioned a few times, and it's been said to me a few times. And listeners' potential and everything, and as opportunities lie ahead, and if super featherweight is the weight I'll stay at, you know, that's definitely somewhere you'd want to go, isn't it? Like a world title. So yeah, but I'm still in between the weights. This fight was 130 because Jordan has moved up apparently. So, and if Leigh Wood's going to be up at this weight, then there's the potential rematch there. Yeah, I'll come up to this weight. And if the bigger fights are here, like the Cordinas, like the Warringtons, yeah, I'll stay at this weight. You know, I have no problem doing that. I'm a big enough featherweight, and I'm actually still big at super featherweight, but I've made it quite easy, so it's nice.
Just away from yourself, Mick, just a couple of topics to get your thoughts on. Obviously, last week in Dublin, we saw Katie Taylor get back as you're trying to do on Saturday night with a victory against Chantelle Cameron. What did you make of her performance in that fight?
Inspirational. Like, she lost the week before me, didn't she? And then she's won the week before me.
You said you weren't superstitious now.
I'm not. I'm not. But you just take so much inspiration from her because she's just an unbelievable woman, like an unbelievable athlete, person, human being, and so much people wrote her off. Like I said at the start of the week, it started last week. I don't know how she wins, but I believe she's going to win. And it says something that made is just saying like her faith or something is just going to bring her through this because there's no way in hell she should become staying at that weight. The challenge the biggest fucking champion in the weight and the best champion in the weight, and winning it again. So yeah, it's special.
How did you see the fight? I mean, obviously, the one big talking point was the knockdown early on in the fight.
Well, if you count it as a knockdown, I know if it was me, it probably would be counted as a knockdown, but um, she still wins a point. She wins a split decision, so it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant in that sense that she could count it as a knockdown or not. She still wins. So I thought she boxed brilliant. It's the best I've seen her box in a long time. She used her legs and her movement for the first time in a long time because people are just seeing Katie as a brawler, but she's always been a boxer. Throughout the amateurs and stuff, you don't go and win what she's won without having boxing ability. So she was fantastic. She put on a career best performance at 37. People are saying like she should be done a while back, and you couldn't begrudge her if she did, because she's achieved everything you can achieve as a female in boxing, and she's going to go down in history in boxing. So unbelievable athlete, unbelievable human being, and just a special human being to go and do what she's done. And you've seen how the reaction of the people and the nation when she does win, it's amazing.
Just a few fights quickly on the horizon. I want to get your thoughts on Mick. Haney-Prograis next weekend, fantastic fight. What do you expect to see for the 140 title?
It's interesting. Prograis is a real dangerous fighter. Like it was a flip of a coin between him and Taylor when they fought. Now in his last performance is probably a bit lackluster. And Devin is coming up. Devin obviously isn't the biggest of punchers, but has enough power and pop to make you respect him, and you can't just walk through him. So he's the bigger guy still, even though he's coming up with. He's taller and just bigger in that sense. I think Haney wins on points, but in a born fight at times, and with a little bit of sparks through it.
Bam and Sonny the week after.
You know what? I've been a massive fan of Bam Rodriguez for time, yeah. And there's one style that beats him, and it's Sonny Edwards. And it's crazy, like, because the kid is so talented, but Sonny just has that style where, oh, it'd be a nightmare to have in front. Just that moving around where he just doesn't let you land, and he gets his own shots off. The smart thing about Sonny, he knows he's not a power puncher and doesn't try to punch hard, so he just does his stuff, gets in and out, gets the wins. So fair play to him.
Big heavyweight mix on December 23rd, headlined by Anthony Joshua and Otto Wallin. An interesting fight. What do you make of it?
It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight. I know it's not a big name, and people, if Joshua lost, people will be getting so much shit. But Wallin's a good fighter, man, and he's got a good coach, Joey Gamach, behind him. And that's a hard fight. You've seen how much problem he gave Fury. So it's not an easy fight, but the casual boxing fan and the usual Joshua kind of critic will always give him shit about it.
And just a final one, because it's early next year, Callum Smith and Artur Beterbiev.
That's a great fight, and I think it could be timing right for Smith. Beterbiev is old, but you see the chinks in his armour even against Yard. And in my opinion, it's just a much better champion than Yard, even at light heavy. So I'm leaning towards Callum Smith on that one.
All right, Mick, time's getting on a bit. I know you've got to shoot across we've both got to shoot across to a press conference. So I'll see you over there. Thank you for dropping by over to do this interview, and I'll speak to you again soon. Good luck on Saturday.
Man, cheers, mate. Thanks for coming.